Hello, Ragini ma'am. How are you? Hi, how are you? I made you the host. I'm doing good. Yes. Today no participants were there, so I thought I'll switch on the video. Yeah, right now very hectic because assignments have to be rolled out, assessments. We are still in the process of correcting the assignments. So hopefully by 15th we are planning to declare the results. 15th. Yeah, yeah. So you completed all of them, no? Great, great, great. I have to just download few of them are pending. Okay.
मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगेगा। omega 3 ରେ हो
Hello, Mousumi ma'am. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm audible?
Voice is coming very low.
Okay, 1 second. Now?
It's still low only.
Just hold on. Just hold on. Let me see. What about now?
Yeah,
It is okay now, right?
this is fine. Yeah. So, ma'am, you can, I've made you the host. You can try sharing if there is any screen.
Yeah, I'll do that. Our class, we can start now.
Yeah, you can. It's already 12:02. You can probably wait for a minute. And 15 participants, approximately 13 participants are there. So you can start in a minute.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you're audible.
Right. Thank you. Good afternoon once again. My name is Dr. Mousumi Sengupta. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a nice thing to see all of you have joined our session today on communication and presentation skill, paper 6 for ISTD diploma course batch 89. By profession, I'm a faculty member, researcher, consultant, and trainer in the Yes, I think so. May I request the others to please mute yourselves? Thank you. Yeah, right, right. Thank you. Um, um, with ISTD, my association goes a long way, and it's always my privilege to come back and have some interaction with erudite people like you. And in the corporate profession, I'm sure you will be coming up with loads of examples during our discussion. And please remember one thing. It is from my core of my heart. My earnest request to you all would be, please do not consider this as only one-way communication and as a class or teaching class for that matter. This is going to be a participative interaction forum where we are sharing our experiences, because online classes are successful and effective if and only if the participants talk to each other and communicate and contribute. Otherwise, it is going to be only one-sided, and that too you are not able to see each other. Yeah. So without, oh dear.
Ma'am, better you mute everyone. And
I'm not able to mute. If 1 minute.
you're the host, so you will have the rights.
Yes, I have exercised my right now. Thank you. Right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, without much ado, let me just start our session. And I understand this is going to be the part B of our module 4. Since it is the part B, and there should be some discussion, some introductory part of the module 4. So we will just try to quickly brush through what we intend to do in module 4, and then we will move on to our actual discussion, which is the audio visuals, how we are going to use for our communication and presentation skill. Okay, at any point of time, if you have any question, please do raise your hand here, or you can write in the chat box, and we will take up the question as and when it is possible. Yeah, I'll try to interact with all of you. But having said that, please be a little bit proactive, because I'm not able to see you all. Therefore, kindly, bear with me and use the technology as a convenient one. Yeah. Right. I have shared my screen. People, we can see my screen here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Right. So let's talk about the module 4, which is a part of audience engagement. And I'm sure in part A already you have been discussing about it. So if we just kindly tell me why this audience engagement is needed, and what is the significance of having the audience engaged with the speaker or the presenter? Anyone? You can just raise your hand and I may call your name, please. Okay, yes, we have just 1 minute. Some problem is there. Just 1 minute. Yes, I have Ishanvi and Prachi. And if anybody else is also there, I will just come back to you. We can start with Ishanvi. Yes, we can start with Ishanvi. I can see the hand. Guys, you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah, so I saw the hands raised when I have asked this question about the audience, the significance of audience for a speaker and a presenter. So I saw Ishanvi raise the hand and some other people also. In case Ishanvi is not interested to talk, anybody else? Can you just raise your hand again? Yes, this is Debashish. Who has raised, Debashish, you have raised the hand? Okay, Viraj, you have raised the hand?
Yeah, I have raised.
Yes, please go ahead.
I think the training what we do is for the audience. It's not for us, right? So engaging them, it aids in learning and also in retention of what is being taught to them, and it motivates them when they are engaged. I think if the audience is engaged in a good way, it's the best training. This is my thoughts.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Who else has raised the hand? Some problem is there with my laptop. I'm not able to see anybody else.
Ma'am, we cannot see you actually.
No, you cannot see me because I have
We
stopped
cannot
my
see you
video.
actually. Yeah.
I
All
am
right, all
still
right.
here.
I thought it was an technical issue that I am not able
No,
to
I
see you.
think some bandwidth problem or something is there because of which I'm not able to
Maybe,
see you
maybe,
guys.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, just hold on a second. Let me see. Whose hand? Okay, nobody else has raised the hand, is it? Okay, Debayan. Yes, Debayan, please go ahead.
Yeah. Simon, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ma'am. So, I believe that the communication should be a two-way factor. When we are, conducting any kind of training session, it's much more required for the trainees to, have an interaction with the trainer so that it will help the trainer to understand what kind of perspective the trainees are having towards the session that has been conducted in this particular forum. And more of that, until and unless the trainees are interacting with the trainer won't be able to understand whether whatever the trainer is delivering, whether that is getting into the trainees or not, or the trainees are able to anticipate the situation accordingly. And if I talk about the adult methodology of training, so it will also include the factors like the adult learners generally try to uh, understand what the situation is, and they try to evaluate whether whatever they are doing in their practical life, that is having a particular significance with the particular training or not. So in that case, the engagement is very much required in terms of trainee as well as the trainer also, to understand what the
Fantastic.
situation is actually demanding. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. Anybody else?
The audience is a factor of motivation for the trainer also.
Okay, you are, madam. I'm not able to see your name. Smita.
Smita, ma'am.
Yes, Smita. Yes, right. Anybody else? So Debashish,
Can I
Deepan.
know? Sorry, ma'am, I joined little late. Can I know the question?
Who are you? I'm not able to see you actually.
Bharat this side.
Bharat, my question
Bharat
was
Dubey.
this. Yeah, when we're talking about audience, why the audience becomes so significant for a presenter or a speaker? That was the question, the basic question, basically.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. No, okay. It's very nice actually.
Oh,
All the three people have spoken. Anybody else wants to speak? Please feel free. Just raise your hand here.
so of course, audience is like a recipient, or maybe the speaker, or maybe the trainer wanted to deliver a particular content to that people who are attending the session, and we call them as a sometime audience, and sometime it is a learner or participant. So it is important because for trainer, audience is one of the you ask is what about what is audience? That's it only.
Yeah.
Okay,
the
so yeah,
significance of the audience. Yes.
the significance of audience is, of course, it related to the topic and the facilitator.
Hmm. Yeah, I see Pooja also raised the hand. Yes, Pooja. After Pooja, we will come back for further discussion, and then again the forum will be open. Yes, Pooja, please go ahead.
Yes, with the while we interact with the audience, then it becomes more interesting. The session becomes more interesting. Otherwise, only a lecture method becomes little bore to the audience. And if it's and also it helps us to gauge their understanding and what is the level of their knowledge right now, so that we can accordingly continue the session to give the better deliverables.
Absolutely.
it.
I mean, we will just, if you quickly go back to our earlier discussion, I'm sure in this paper, your other faculty member must have already spoken about the model of communication, where it is a two-way method, as you all have spoken about. The communication message has to be sent from the speaker or the originator of the message, and it goes to the receiver. The receiver basically is the audience, and once the audience understands what what the speaker or the presenter is trying to say, then the audience is going to frame up the perception and the understanding about the information or the message, and then accordingly they're going to act upon it. That's the whole idea or whole objective of the communication is. Therefore, audience being at the receiving end is extremely crucial, and if the audience is not with us, well, as you rightly put at the end, it is only going to be a monotonous boring kind of conversation where, or monotonous monologue perhaps, where the objective of the communication, we do not know whether it has been achieved, because we don't even understand that the audience has been with us on the same page or not. Therefore, audience is extremely crucial. Very, very correctly put. Let us just try to quickly see what is this audience analysis. I'm sure, again, once again, we all have done that perhaps, but first class, we have to bear with me. Basically, audience analysis is a kind of scientific process through which we try to find out exactly who are our audience. Now, you may say that what is so big deal about this, the scientific approach? We know who is sitting in front of us. Is that so? My statement is correct, or you disagree with it? My statement was, audience just sitting in front of us. What is the need to actually have a scientific approach and a formal approach to understand who is our audience? Is it really needed or it is not? Your views, please. We need to understand audience properly. Yes or no? And if yes, why? Yeah. Who started talking? Sorry, I have stopped you.
Sorry. That's right, Neha. So I was saying that audience analysis is very much important, because otherwise we won't be able to understand what are the exact requirements of our of our audience, and accordingly we should be able to design our training. So that is why audience analysis is very much important.
Very true. Based on Neha's point, can we guys come up with an example, a real life example, where because of the different type of audience, we may decide that our presentation style or our communication style needs to be a little different? Any example from your side? Any real life example? Anything, anything. Yeah. Anybody?
So it depends upon their learning style, and of course the
Give me
experience.
an example. Give me a real life example. You are saying learning style, fine, but in a real situation, you put that and tell all of us that
So
how it's going to be different.
the sometime when you are going, let's say one trainer is going through the slide which contain only the maybe some kind of details and some text over there. You can so in one of the means in the training you can find some of the learner who could not able to, means their facial expression, or maybe you can guess that the learner is not able to connect and not able to understand. And the same learner show good interest when you show kind of a video or images which relate the topic to, and then the learner can able to reciprocate the knowledge.
Okay. Very true. Can we just put it one company's example? Let me try to give you an example. Let's see, we are conducting a training session about Pooja. I'll just come back to you. Just give me 2 minutes. Yeah, I'll come back to you. If we just think about a company's example where the trainer, as a trainer, you are going to conduct, or as a HR executive, you are going to conduct the induction program. Okay, in the induction program, basically what happens, the new joinees, they are going to be part of the induction program, and naturally you have to speak a lot about the company's culture, the policies, the procedures, who are going to be reported to, who are going to be their subordinates, and so on and so forth, right? So basically you are going to devote a pretty good time, I would say a substantial amount of time, to actually make them aware about the company per se, is not it? But if you're thinking about conducting the program on, let's say, awareness about the organizational culture or organizational culture enhancement for the existing employees, okay, the cultural part still you have to talk about. The advantages of bringing positive organizational culture still you have to talk about. But having said that, the existing employees, remember, they're already aware about certain nuances about that company already. Therefore, you may not like to waste your breath on discussing too much in too details about what is this organization all about. Instead, you may go to directly towards the nuances of the organizational cultural positive aspects, correct? Therefore, the way of addressing people, it depends who are the people, that is, who are the audience, correct? That is what you are trying to tell me? Yeah, right. Now, Pooja, it's your turn.
No, that was the same point. I wanted to share that if the level of the knowledge and the level, the seniority level of the attendee should be gauged before, because if they already know the basic scare things of the topic, then we don't need to go from the scratch. We have to directly go to the level of knowledge we should always analyze of the training before start the training. So that is the analysis of the audience is necessary.
Fantastic. Anybody else wants to give an example, please? Because the way I see it, communication and presentation skill, the effectiveness is dependent heavily on the audience. And we have to pay a lot of attention to the audience. Even if we are going to talk about this audiovisual stuff, we need to understand whether the audience understands it or not. Therefore, it is very much crucial for us to look at that audience part. So anybody else wants to volunteer here? It's a very beautiful participative group I have got. Many people are talking, so it's nice actually. Please go ahead.
Ma'am, I have one more point to share as an example.
Yeah.
May I?
Yeah,
So, for example, if we have an audience with some specially abled audience also, say, for example, visually impaired, so we have to design our trainings accordingly so that we do not include much of visuals on the screen, or we should be, able to understand their needs as well. So that is one example which came to my mind.
Very true. In fact, very nice way to actually lead me towards this particular, slide which I wanted you to see. I hope you are able to see this. This is the type of audience analysis, ladies and gentlemen, where we talk about 3 types of analysis. One is demographic, one is psychographic, and one is situational analysis. Now, the situational analysis we have been talking about in terms of the features of a particular situation of the communication to be held. For instance, I said that the newly employed, newly joining joinees and the existing employees, when we are conducting training about the organizational culture. But what just 1 minute back, what Neha was mentioning, it was basically about the demographic analysis, where it includes the factors such as gender, age, range, marital status, race and ethnicity, socioeconomic status, and so on and so forth. Very, very crucial point she has mentioned here. We have to be extremely careful. One small example I like to give you. See, I hope most of us have seen or heard about the movie called Lagan. Lagan, Amir Khan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Excellent. How many of you will be knowing Lagan? All of us?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we know that.
You know that. I know that. 50% people know that. 80% people know that. But ladies and gentlemen, there is no guarantee that 100% of our audience knows Lagan. Or at least they have heard about that word or the movie's name. But 100% people, we cannot guarantee that they have seen that movie. What I'm trying to target towards is, this is called demographic information. We cannot assume that the audience knows certain things. Therefore, as a trainer, I'm just giving my personal experience. Okay, I was conducting one leadership training session, training module for some people, and I was just wanted to give the example. So even before doing anything in my title page, leadership skills, and I have just put at the background the Lagan movies, that particular, the Bhuban and all other people standing there. The hand was put on the waist, with the proud body language I have put there. And then I said, what do you understand about this? There, I cannot assume that everybody understood that Lagan is a representative movie of a leadership of a common man. And exactly that happened. That was my mistake. And one person said, it is just a movie. What do you try to achieve? And I was like, huh? It was such an embarrassing moment. What I'm trying to say, my intention was good, but then I missed to understand that perhaps there may be one person who is not able to relate with Lagan because of the language issue, perhaps. I do not know. I'm just giving an example here from my experience. The person actually opened my eyes, and I thought it can be one good example of the demographic analysis. Psychographic analysis is another one where the values, opinion, attitude, beliefs, etc. becomes extremely crucial. Okay. Just a couple of months back, I was conducting some
Can't hear
sessions.
you.
Yes, please. You wanted to say something?
No, actually, it was not audible.
I'm not audible?
No, ma'am, you are audible.
So
Okay, okay.
You are
You are
audible.
audible. Maybe her network is
we
not
get
supporting.
Oh,
now.
okay. Okay. No,
Yeah,
in
no,
case
first it's
any
not audible, but
technical,
now it is.
okay, in any technical glitch, please do let me know,
Now
because
you are.
yes,
Now
because
you.
technology is something which is beyond our control. So we have to help each other. Yeah, I was just about to say about the psychographic analysis. Couple of months back, I was in France conducting some program in one business school, which is internationally accredited business school. And in that particular school, there were students who came from 25 different countries. Okay, in my class, there were people around 40 plus, and they came from different countries. And I faced this particular issue about the psychographic analysis because the values, opinions, and beliefs, they were so different from one country to another country. For example, a person who came from Africa and a person who came from Egypt, I found it's very, very difficult to actually, make them to come on the same page when you're talking about the ethics of leaders. Yeah, it becomes extremely crucial. Therefore, when we are talking about conducting any training event or preparing any training sessions or organizing any training event as a HR executive, we have to understand that there are so many different type of issues which we have to analyze for the audience before we go for delivering the training. Okay. In fact, I have seen this issue happens when we organize open MDPs and in-company program, because in-company program, there will be the executives and employees who are from one company and they're facing perhaps almost similar kind of issues. But when you are conducting the open program where the different companies are nominating their executives, each of the executives will be having different questions in their mind, different expectations from the program, and therefore it becomes more complicated when you are dealing with the audience. Okay. So basically, when we talk about this, situation analysis, therefore, it goes like this: the physical environment, the interest level of the audience, interest level of the audience. I'm a little curious to know whether you have any experience about this. Why do you think I have mentioned this interest level of the audience? How it is going to make or mar the presentation skill? Any idea, guys? Interest level of audience.
So,
Yes.
Bharat here.
Hmm.
So the topic, let's say, the learner is must having a great awareness about that topic. Maybe
Okay.
he or she will not show the interest on that topic,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
hence it is essentially we all do kind of a pre-training assessment to check the topic relevance and as well as the awareness of the participant on that particular topic. So
Okay.
the topic itself is the kind of which can affect the interest level of the participant.
Okay.
Secondly, the maybe previous experience of the participants of having such kind of workshop and which was not fruitful for the person. So previous
Absolutely.
experience can also affect. So these two things we can tell about.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, the physical environment I have seen, of course, it is in the lighter vein, no, no direct attack to anybody here. But as a trainer, I have seen, I'll just like to share, most of the organizations nowadays, they're trying to have their training sessions in their own, the training event place and generally the conference room or training room or something like that. I have seen nearing to when we are approaching almost the lunchtime, the participants of the training event, they get little fidgety and they look at each other and etc because this lunchtime is coming up and perhaps they know that their lunch has been arranged in some place where they have to walk and etc and it is going to take some time. And I have seen this is pretty interesting. In one case, I have seen, I'll not give you the company's name, of course, but I have seen, that was the training room was actually placed somewhere within the campus of the company, and it was the glass wall was there. Yeah. So almost it was almost 1 o'clock and lunchtime, and I was actually winding up the training session before lunch, and I saw the executives are actually looking and trying to see through the glass wall that who is walking towards in one particular direction. I was new, so naturally out of curiosity I said that something is there arranged or something is happening, some event is something. No, Dr. Sengupta, actually our lunch is being served in there. So the physical environment is something where people's mind was getting diverted, and naturally at that point of time, even if you are talking about very intricate details of some training content, people perhaps are not in the mindset to absorb what you are saying. These are very small, perhaps sometimes we feel like they're small and silly things, but as trainers we have to be extremely careful about these. Now let us come to this audio-visual part of presentation. And with the beginning of our discussion so far, if we want to say anything, anybody wants to say anything or any comment or any contribution, please say so, raise your hand. Till now, whatever we have discussed, it was just a kind of intro part of our discussion because it is the first session with you today. No? Okay, sure. So now we are getting into a specific space of communication and presentation skill, that is how to use the audio-visual aid or tool as a helping hand for the presenter or the communicator when we are trying to communicate with a group of people. Audio and visual. Audio which we can hear and visual which we can see. The challenge, however, is we have to ensure the audio visual which we are showing, people understand that and they relate to that. Just some time back, I was giving the example of Lagan. On my title page, I have just used their image, and then I actually made myself like a fool because one person said, what is the big deal about it? It is his own perception, but there you go. Out of 25 people, if one person also says that, you actually sit back and think that as a trainer, whether you actually misperceived how to deal with the audience. Therefore, it is extremely crucial. And one more thing also I have noticed, correct me if I'm wrong here, I have seen that as a trainer, every time when we go for conducting a training, or as an HR executive, every time we are trying to organize any training event, we find something unique, something new about this training session, is not it? Because the audience is different. Okay, therefore, the audiovisual aids also, when we are using as our instructional material, we also have to ensure that what type of audiovisual aid we are using for a specific audience. Can we come up with some example, ladies and gentlemen, where you have tried to use the AV aid when you are giving the presentation or when you are conducting any training? Any real life experience can I have here? How we have used these audiovisual aids and our experience for that.
So uh, I would quote one example. Let's say there is a training session on building skill of objection handling.
Okay.
So what I have done before prompting it up, that what is the objection handling and how it's supposed to be done. First, there will be a role play of one of the person who can nominate himself, considering how he is his practice of doing so, and then after showing a kind of a video which gives some kind of nuances over there, and then asking a participant, yes, is there any scope of doing further improvement on this or what?
Okay. May I know what is this objection handling? What objection we're talking about? Is it grievance handling?
No, it is not necessarily. Let's say the seller is selling any product
Okay.
to the set of customer, and generally the customer voice out some kind of objection if it is not matching their expectation.
Okay. Right.
So people has a different ways of handling it. Generally, the salesman has the tendency to vomit out whatever the knowledge he or she has to convince the customer rather than understanding the need of the customer.
Yes, sometimes it is also called as complaint handling.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Complaint
Okay,
handling or objection handling. Then
fantastic. Yes.
yeah, so I use AV where a very tactical and good way of objection handling is being demonstrated by a kind of a person, salesperson, and then thereby we, as a trainer, I ask them to things you feel is good over there, and can we go ahead to build that skill here?
Okay, very nice. Anybody else wants to say anything? Any other person want to contribute?
Can I say it in the perspective of pedagogy? Because I work for a high school. I'm a teacher. So we use the AVs for students when it is speaking about the motivational chapters or any story is being given. If it is right, I will do it. Otherwise, it's
Please
okay.
go
Anyone can
ahead.
take it.
Please go ahead. Smita, please understand, teachers are the people who use communication. I guess 24 hours, barring the time they're sleeping. With others, of course. Sleeping also, we communicate with ourselves, but then nevertheless. Yeah, please go ahead, please.
There's a small poem called Don't Quit in Grade 8. So in case if we start telling them the motivational thing about whom are you racing among yourselves, I mean, are you racing it with people who are incapable than you or anything like that? If we start doing that in theoretical manner, probably the grade 8 kids cannot definitely communicate, I mean, relate to the concept. So I had used one Zen story wherein it was an audiovisual aid to tell the poem about don't quit, telling whom are you competing with. It's only about yourself and not about the other outer world. So that was one thing which the children could understand very easily, and they could relate it to the poem.
Very nice. Anybody else? Yes, Shivli, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, ma'am. So, when we're talking about communication skills, I think that AV really helps mostly. So, I come from a call center background and I have been training a lot. So, when we are talking about active listening or hearing, or if I take the example of active listening, so I don't know how many, if you know this movie of Govinda, wherein there is this lady, a foreigner lady, she wants to go to the Taj Mahal hotel. But because this Govinda is a taxi driver and he doesn't listen or hear to that, tourist properly, he takes her to the actual Taj Mahal. And then he charges exorbitantly, obviously, because he's taking all the way from Mumbai to Agra. And that's how we use the audio visual, and we take probably a feedback from the participants. Okay, what went wrong? What could have been done better? If you would have been in his place, what would you have ensured to do that this, such an incident would not have happened? So this way we can actually use audio visual to actually get a lot of information from the participants rather than giving it to the participants. Because I believe that when the information comes from your participants, they will be able to accept it more and work on it more rather than the other way around.
Fantastic. Excellent. By the way, which movie was that? I'm not able to remember.
I probably have to see this. I will check. I'll come back to you before the end of.
Absolutely. Sure, sure. It's a very, very interesting example, though. Thank you very much for sharing.
Welcome,
Okay.
ma'am.
Anybody else? Anybody else? No? Okay. Let us now try to see then what we have discussed so far, and then I'm sure we will all come back with some further examples. The objective of the audiovisual aids, therefore, will be as follows. Naturally, to enrich the presentation by adding more concrete features. Yeah. Now, many a times we have seen, as you all have experienced, that when we are talking, most of the cases, it happens that the audience actually struggles to note down the points, even if the audience is really interested to learn. People who are not interested, I'm not even talking about them, but then the interested audience, if you see, they struggle to actually note down. Many a times I have seen they're actually using the mobile phone to, just take some encrypted way of writing some bullet points or etc., etc. But if you complement your verbal presentation with some kind of audio visual, be it a PPT, be it a flip chart, be it a film or whatever, the retention of the audience about that information content, or the interest level of the audience, or the time to capture the information becomes more easy or more, I would say, fast. Okay. To help the participants become active and interested during training or presentations. I have seen this is extremely crucial, and I'm sure all of you must have already experienced. It is always better to utilize more than one sensory organ, because we will try to make people more interested. I have seen in our sessions, in fact, the adult learners also, they love to see some cartoon clips. Okay, the cartoon clips will be giving the idea about, we may think that, okay, cartoons are for children, but I beg to differ. Cartoons are sometimes for adult learners also, and if you show the cartoons, it is going to have a lot of impact, because as it is, it will bring some kind of humorous element and breaks the monotony. But at the same time, it also brings a kind of interests to know that what these cartoon characters are playing and how we can relate them or their behavior with the training content what the trainer is trying to deliver. It also makes the lesson plan more interesting. It also makes the learning material easier to understand, and naturally all these things put together, it also make the teaching process more effective. Okay. So let us move on and let us try to see these things which we have already discussed. Okay. AV aids supplement and complement the verbal instructions. Okay, guys, how many type of audiovisual aids we have used? Can I hear from you?
Type means what you are actually asking. Huh?
What are the different type of audiovisual aids you have used? Type of audiovisual aids. For example, flip chart. For example, PPT, like this. What are the different type of things you have used?
Yeah, so there are many. For example, flip chart, uh, VAV,
Flashcard, ma'am, flashcard, recordings
yeah,
are there,
flashcard, recordings, yes.
videos are there, some small clips of videos from YouTube or somewhere else. Movies.
Animated, some kind of tricky and difficult topics which is animated well, and so even AR and VR also I used.
Anything else? Anything else you have used?
Handouts are also one of the visual aids.
Yes, handouts. Okay, anything
Job
else?
aids.
LMS
Job aids.
learning
LMS,
system.
yeah, essentially LMS.
Yes.
LMS.
What else? Which one did you find more effective according to you? One by one, you can speak. Which one? And if you find some AV tool is useful or more effective, why do you think it was effective for that particular training?
So animated, I feel is one of the very effective. Other than this VR, because VR is costly affair. Animated is go with stepwise approach, and hence I found that it is very helpful in means simplifying the difficult topic.
Okay, so one point we have got, that is stepwise approach. Ladies and gentlemen, extremely crucial point. We are not actually overloading or overburdening the brain of the audience by giving the information at a time. We are actually using the piece to whole approach. So step by step approach we are taking. Very interesting point. Next. Another person maybe? Come on, give it a try. What else is important? What else you have seen very effective?
Videos.
Videos, okay. And how do you think it is going to be? It is actually very effective in your experience. Give an experience, like he
Because
said.
the learners may not be only audio learners, like people will be able to visualize and understand, or and some might listen to and understand. So basically, videos actually reach the senses, more sense organs compared to only audio or visual. Ma'am. So
Okay.
both combination can actually trigger the thought process.
Okay, fair enough. Next. Very valid point. Next.
Ma'am, I have seen this film audio clips, especially in training related to communication or some behavioral trainings, to be very effective. They really connect with the people. And secondly, what I have seen that we have some small clips on internet. Some of the trainers also make use of them very effectively, which explain some concepts. So these two have found, and these clips are usually animated, and they do not have people in them, but animated clips. These two I have seen that they are being used very effectively. One of the trainers that we employed, you used it to such a great effect that I asked him that give me some part of your collection. We will also use it.
Okay. You know, that way, what you have just said, in fact, what Smita was also saying, the video clips or the films, the small clips actually, YouTube is like, I call it as a khazana. Of course, not all the time it is free of cost you can use, and sometimes the copyrighted material is also there. But then you can actually dig out some very good material and you can show. Yeah, very nice examples. Okay. Sandeep, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. So I would like to also share that whenever we share these video clips, it can be a YouTube one or even a film clip. So when they see the video, they grasp some learning. And generally what we do, we ask the participants to reflect upon what is the key message they have taken. So when they reflect upon the messages, so I think the learning gets embedded within them. So that's a good way of learning things.
Okay, very nice. In fact, I call it as audio visual way of case study discussion, because every
Yes, ma'am.
small video clip, the way I see it, every small video clip tries to send a message, what you have rightly said, and this message is basically crux of the small case which the video was trying to portray. Therefore, when you are asking them what you have learned, basically they have analyzed the video and then they're telling you about the learning. So willy-nilly, directly or indirectly, without even realizing, perhaps they are actually learning certain things. So very well said.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody else?
So, yeah,
Anybody
there
else?
are many of the times there are the sales pitch also that happens with the help of some visual aid. So
Mhm.
that could also be considered as a good option for having this audio visual impact.
Okay. So you are
Even
saying that.
related to iPads
Hmm.
and the sales pitch that happens where it has a lot of diagrams
Mm-hmm.
and also graphical representation, some learning
Absolutely.
detailed material that is available on that. And the person can also communicate to the client as well as
Okay.
show it on the iPad. So both the things can be.
Absolutely. Verbally, it is actually not possible for us to connect with the audience, especially when the number of audience members in the audience is larger than perhaps 5. It is physically impossible to touch base with all the people and find out what is their learning and what are their queries, etc. It is always better to have the audio visuals as the complementary tool with the verbal communication. Fantastic. Anybody else?
So yes, Bharat here. So as many of our colleagues says that about debriefing, we called it is showing any video and bringing the learning from that, so that the all learners should be on one page. That is one thing. And the one thing which come up recently in the market, which is talking about the tool which help the learner to see their own expression, body language, and speech and pace. So they can also look at how they are actually delivering the learning, and then they can give their own comment that how it is, and is there any opportunity to improve upon.
Very nicely said. In fact, I would like to say something more also. I do not know how many of you have actually used that. Artificial intelligence also you can try to use as a kind of audiovisual tool. Sometimes we are making certain experimentation with this AI to see how the voice of the presenter or the communicator is getting recorded, and then that actually becomes converted into a lecture transcript or a summary of the lecture or a training session, and then that will be circulated among the audience, and audience can actually comment on this, and wherever it is not possible for them to understand, they come with the asking for some clarifications on something. Anybody has used artificial intelligence
Same,
as a.
madam. What I was talking about, Bharat here, that is artificial intelligence only.
Correct. Now, this is the in thing actually. I mean, to a great extent, I would say the artificial intelligence tools are helping us in terms of reducing our manual workload. But the trainers are not going to be replaced by the artificial intelligence, but artificial intelligence is going to be actually acting as the helping hand to the trainers and HR people, so that it is going to be easier for us days coming. I can actually see the artificial intelligence is going to play a huge role in our training sessions. Yeah, very nice. Anybody else? No? Okay, right. Let me just share once again the slide and then we will continue. Yeah. So basically, we are talking about these things, and I will not go to each of these points. I'm sure we have already discussed about all these things. So I'll just go to the next slide here. Yeah, different type of AV aids. Okay, audio aids are instructional tools which send only the audible communications such as radio, tape recorder, gramophone, lingua phone, etc. This is extremely crucial in case you have differently abled people who are physical, who are, vision wise, they have the problem. Those people who have got the eyesight problem, for them, in case they are there in your audience, you need to have the audio aids. And that is why I was telling you that artificial intelligence actually plays wonder here. In fact, I have heard that, I have not used it so far, but I have heard that the AI tool is there where they are not only converting the lecture or the training into a transcript, they're also converting into braille. So the vision impaired person can, visually impaired person can actually use that and learn what this lecture has been told later on. So this is actually a very nice thing. Visual aids are the instructional tools which send only the visible communication such as chart, black and whiteboard, pictures, models, printed material, etc. If you have people who are having a problem with the auditory impairment, then this is going to be very much useful for them. In fact, one more thing I would like to share with you at this particular point of time, audiovisual aids are most welcome for any presentation or any delivery of any communication. But then we have to be extremely careful about the type and the nature of the audience. It should not be any discriminatory, it should not be any different type of visual aids or audio aids which will actually create any problem at a later point of time, legally speaking. Because now the organizations have got a lot of compliances to follow. I'm sure you all know that. Lot of compliances to be followed. The audiovisual aids should not speak anything, should not show anything which can be considered as a discrimination against a type of person or a type of people, or it should not be stereotyped, if you will. Therefore, please be extremely careful. The words such as white, black, male, female, these words are also very, very carefully used nowadays because of the legal compliance requirements. Okay, companies have got certain needs to follow those compliances, and trainers and HR executives, you should be extremely careful. Have you experienced any such issue in your past where you had to actually, find out the audio visuals, keeping all these challenges in mind? Any of you?
No challenge. However, it is very clear to in our organization, and I believe it is in most of the organization. While delivering and showing any kind of content, we should be very sensitive and very uh, sensitive would be the good word. Considering all participants as a learner, and not considering individual with their gender and their ethnicity or their color, all these things.
Exactly. In fact, earlier days when we used to talk about leadership or any particular thing like team building, etc., etc., by default we used to, show the video clips where, maybe the animated versions or whatever, or cartoon versions, or even the video clips where you will be finding majority of the people, maybe the male or the female, either of the gender maybe. Nowadays, we have to be extremely careful because these things are little touchy and sensitive, and especially we have to do the compliance with the law. Therefore, we have to give a disclaimer. In the way I do it as a trainer, I have no control over the video clips because the video clips have been already made. The cartoon films have been already made. I'm just borrowing from publicly available material. I'm not preparing it. I'm not producing those clips, to be very honest with you. I'm just referring to them. Therefore, what I do, I'm sure many of you do that. At the beginning of showing those audio visuals, what I do, I give a disclaimer. And I say, just please understand that there is no intention from our side to, discriminate anybody, or nobody has been, being impacted on this, etc., etc. By chance, if any comment has been mentioned in this particular film, this is unintentional, and we apologize for this, etc., etc. I mean, you should know how to deal with it, but that has to be dealt with it. Today, the situation is you have to be extremely careful about this, because your audience will be having so many different type of people. The people can be of different age, race, gender, ability, and so on and so forth. I'm sure you all know that, and that is why all the examples you are telling. Let me just go back here once again and talk a little bit about this. A second. Yeah. See, there is one more challenge. What I found, I do not know whether you will be, with me or not. See, this black and white board and pictures and models and printed materials, etc. These things are very nice and in the traditional version. Nowadays, we are in the age of artificial intelligence and smart board. I have seen this smart board and artificial intelligence can create a huge, great deal of, positivity and help to the trainers, but at the same time they create a lot of problems also. I do not know whether you have experienced that or not, but just a couple of days back I was trying to use some artificial intelligence tool to actually see how the training session transcript they're actually going to prepare, and I found it very interesting and humorous that some of the words what are being getting transcribed, they were not correct, they were not within the particular context, because the artificial intelligence tool, they are heavily dependent on the voice recognition and audio recognition. If your audio tool is not working properly, if your mic is not up to date and very modern type of mic, or if our accent is not being recognized fully by the AI tool, then the words which we're using, they are being represented differently, and that creates a lot of a problem. Anybody has experienced that?
Even madam, Bharat this side, if you create any voiceover also, so there are predefined character and their voice. And sometimes the words what you actually mention over there, they spell it absolutely in different form.
So recently, if everybody has seen this photograph that was being forwarded, Mother Teresa fighting poverty. So it was shown that Mother Teresa is actually fighting with people who are poor. That is the challenge with AI.
Very true, very true. Neha, you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. So, one of the members said, so a few days back, I was generating an AI audio for one of my courses. There was a very small term called rep. It was reps and warranties. So the AI was reading that term as representative. Instead of I was putting that as rep only, but it was taking that as representative. And when I was listening to that, I was like, from where hell it is taking that word? So I have to make certain, modifications. Uh, so that is so then only it was able to take that as rep. So we cannot really rely upon the AI every time.
Absolutely. In fact, when we are talking verbally, our verbal communication, we can use certain, I would say, local terms or common lingua franca. But when we are showing something through the audio visual, or when something is getting recorded and later on represented, if the abbreviated version of what we are trying to say is not properly understood by the audience, then it creates a hell lot of a problem. Therefore, we have to be extremely careful. One simple example I like to tell you, I'm sure, many of us actually nowadays have started doing this thanks to the foreign movies, especially the American movies. What we see, they call each other by very different kind of name. And nowadays, earlier days we used to call as bloke or mate or something. The friends are calling each other. Now everybody is calling each other as brother, or the abbreviated version is bro. Okay. I found it very funny where in some places, in some series and some video clips, they were showing the girl is calling the girl as bro, or the boy is calling the girl as bro. I found it very interesting, but later on I realized now this particular word is being used just like man. Man, as in mankind, is a common, universal word which is being used by us as interpretation of a person, not per se man, which is against woman. Okay, so bro is also becoming a kind of regular language, or the regular word which everybody is using for everybody, and that we are understanding. But imagine if we are having somebody who is not used to this kind of language, that person may not like this kind of situation. Therefore, we have to be very, very careful when we are choosing the films or choosing the audiovisual. That should go very well, that should gel well with our audience expectation and perception. And in that, we have to be also very much careful about the age and the education of, or the education level of the audience as well. Anybody has got the experience of these two and selected the AV tool based on the age and education level of the audience? Anybody has tried that? Anybody has experience like that?
Yes,
Level of
ma'am.
education.
Yes.
Yeah.
So actually, I was working for a hospitality industry, wherein I had to create a hygiene training for you can say very base level employees who are not very conversant with English at all, and even with Hindi they were not very conversant. So they were actually from very you can say just 10th pass, or even not even 10th pass, 8th pass or something of that sort. So at that moment my audio visual was more on the signs and on the videos, and I could not use more on words. And the whatever audio visual I choose, I ensured it that it was more something that they, even a kid can understand it without being too much of lecturing and too much of telling information, more like showing information and more in the basic manner.
Very nicely said. In fact, if you look at the companies like McDonald's, as a part of course, as a part of their corporate social responsibility, CSR, they try to recruit the basic level employees, the entry level employees from socially or economically backward, or not so much, I would say advanced people, but also it is also part of their calculation that when they hire the people who are not too much educated, their salary also can be kind of managed within a particular range. Therefore, whatever is the reason, the consequence of that is I have seen that in majority of this kind of food retail industry, where people who get their basic level job, entry level job, not all of them are very well qualified or well educated, and naturally they have a lot of problems in terms of understanding the language and talking to their customers. And as you rightly put, you must have already seen in this kind of places, not only they talk, they also show their body language for greeting the customer. For example, when they say namaskar or namaskara or welcome sir or hello sir, with this they fold hand and they actually do the symbol of a namaskar when they talk to the customer. So these are very small ways of showing through the audio visuals that how to actually do the customer care. And very beautifully said, this actually works, especially the body language or the kinesics is definitely a kind of science, which is a big compliment for the good communicators, because without body language, only verbal presentation may not be useful. And body language is definitely a kind of audio visual, though it is not a heavy aid, but it is audio visual which the presenter or the communicator is using. Why I call this, it is not an aid. The aid is basically tool, okay, which we are using apart from the person who is delivering the talk. Therefore, the body language is a part of this particular communicator. So it is not considered to be as aid, but definitely it's a part of audio visual. Yeah. Okay. So guys, any questions so far?
No questions. Enthusiasm is also a very important part of body language. That is what I feel.
Absolutely. I fully agree. In fact, if the presenter or the communicator is not showing the particular type of enthusiasm or the level of
Energy.
energy, absolutely, then the audience also will start lacking.
And I always give this example of to my team members also whenever I'm taking sessions. If you have seen people who come to sell their things in trains or buses, how is their energy level, their enthusiasm, their way of sharing things. So even if you don't want to look at them, you automatically are diverted as to what he's talking and what are his brand. You get
Absolutely, absolutely. Neha has raised the hand. I'll come to you, Neha. Just 1 minute. Anybody else wants to say?
Yeah, madam. So, because one of our colleague talking about uh, the people, those who are not much literate and could not able to understand the words also sometimes. The good example which I can recollect with one of the telecommunication company, Zuzus, they have used, where the only character is depicted all the messages.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very nicely done, actually. And then they're showing in different ways, going to moon, touching down earth, talking to the friend, and all sort of things. So very beautifully, very simple way of doing a cartoon, but then it was a kind of universal appeal of the for that. Very nice. Yes, yes, Neha.
Ma'am, I think that was by mistake.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry.
Anybody else? Anybody else wants to say anything? No? Okay, I'm giving you a small task here. Let us see how many of you really are interested to do this. Just a small task. You don't have to write anything or like that. Pick up any of your one of your favorite audiovisual tool. Think about that favorite audiovisual tool, and just tell me how this audiovisual tool you are going to use if you are conducting a specific training event. So basically, what you have to do next, let's say next 10 minutes time, I'm giving you 10 minutes. Consider it as a break as well as your task time. Okay, so in this time of task, doing the task, think about a training event you're organizing, think about audiovisual aid you are going to use there, and then tell me how you're going to use that particular aid when you're conducting the training. Okay, 10 minutes time you take, yeah, and then we will speak. Some of you can type in the chat box. I'll read it out to everybody if you want. Some of you can speak. I just want to see how you quickly think about it in this 10 minutes time. From your past experience, think about it. It will be even more fun.
क्या बोला इसमें?
5 मिनट तो फिर भी रहेगी। बुक है आपका वो। हाँ, ये भी रखो वहीं पे, इधर उधर हो जाएगा।
I hope we are clear about this small task. I find it more interesting if we all talk about our experiences and interactive sessions if we have, because we all are experienced people, experienced professionals in our own workspace. So it is always better if we share each other's, experiences and try to learn from each other. So let's see how we go ahead with it. Okay. So around 1:20 we will start again. Yeah. If anybody wants to see the slides right now, you let me know. I will share my screen. Otherwise, anyway, the PPTs will be shared to you after the classes are over, as always.
खत्म हो गया?
नहीं नहीं, वो तो उसने टाइम लिया ब्रेक। इन्होंने यहाँ रखा है कचरा, ठीक है।
ये पेपर कचरा नहीं रखो।
So what she told us to do, did she give some activity?
Yes, I have given you an activity.
What? Didn't understand.
What activity? Okay, I'll tell you what activity. I told take for around 10 minutes because now it is not 10 minutes, it's only 7 or 8 minutes left. I told that think about a particular training you want to give. Okay, you are a trainer. And in that particular training, you pick up one audiovisual aid you want to use. And then you tell me that what training you want to give. And in that particular training, what audiovisual aid you are going to use and why. Okay, boss? That's your activity. Task, not home task. Right now task.
Okay, mom.
Okay, okay, done. I am here very much. If you want to interact with me, please do so.
Okay, no.
You will not say anything. And the ढक्कन पिंक वाले का ढक्कन लगा दो। पिंक वाले का ढक्कन आप लगा दो।
Yes, anybody wants to start? I know still 2-3 more minutes are there, but nevertheless, if you want to start, we can start. And whoever is going to talk, is it possible for you to switch on your video, please? Then at least I can see you. If it is not too much difficult, not too much trouble. Now you try. I have changed the setting.
Yeah, I can speak now. So mainly it depends on the audience as to what type of tool I want to use. If I want to use people who are always busy and they want to just
Okay,
go for an audio
just
clip.
1 minute. I'm not able to hear you because there are all the people talking. I don't know, somebody.
So, madam,
Am I audible
someone
now?
is playing a video. Please, people are not talking there. Someone playing a video. You can mute everyone so that then Jigar can unmute himself.
I have done that one, boss. Still, this is happening.
Oh God.
Just 1 minute. I have again done that. Okay, my earnest request to you all, please, guys, whoever is talking in our session, you only unmute yourself. Otherwise, the background volumes and the sounds are coming and it's creating a lot of problem. Yeah. So, sir, just 1 minute. I think somebody started talking. If you just switch off your
He
video.
was Jigar. He was Jigar.
Oh, okay, Jigar. Yes, Jigar, you started, right?
Yeah, I wanted to share like whenever it depends on the audience that I'm going to talk with, because if there's a busy
No,
class,
no, no,
class
no,
of
no. That was
professors,
not the task. You tell me which
and
training
I'm
you want to
talking about
conduct.
audio, video, or AV presentation. So the task is if I have to give them a presentation, which is they have to complete a case, for
Okay.
example, which they have to report back after 3 days. It's a book that they need
Jigar,
to
I think
hear.
from your end only
So
it
it is
is
very
noise
difficult
is
for
coming,
them
background
to.
noise is coming. Jigar,
फ्लाइट में
can
इंस्ट्रक्शन आ रहा है
you?
इसके लिए शायद.
Oh, okay.
So others
Arey
can
Bapre,
continue. I'll talk
you are
later.
traveling now. You are traveling and you are attending this program. Wow.
I'll mute myself, नहीं तो सबको announcement ही सुनाई देगा.
Thank you, Jigar.
अब
Thank you so
म्यूट कर
much.
लीजिए आपको खुद को. Wow. Great enthusiasm, yeah. Traveling and attending this class, it is really nice.
Jigar has attended class while doing marathon also, I remember.
Oh dear God.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. He is very dedicated towards
Okay, so
sessions.
I am privileged to meet this group, I must say, because this group is one of the most interactive group I have come across so far in my so many years of
Oh,
training experience. Excellent, guys. Big round of applause to all of you. Great job, great job. Okay, but Jigar, please don't mind. Just hold on. Let me hear from somebody else, and once your announcement in the flight is over, then we can come back to you. Otherwise, next session. Yeah.
so madam,
Right.
I have a video
Hmm.
which is talking about the communications and
Hmm.
active listening specifically.
Hmm.
What you want me to share that video?
No, no, no. I don't want you to share the video. I'm saying you tell me
Yeah.
which training you are going to conduct and what will be your audio visual. This audio visual you are going to use, that particular film.
Yeah, so it is about obviously I will bring back the same topic like objection handling, and
Okay.
there is a crucial aspect of it is active listening. Without
Mhm.
listening, you cannot handle any objection and the challenge of the person.
So last
So
time
there
you
I
said
will,
you are going to use role play.
yeah. So if for any training, there is opportunity to use multiple tools.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So I can use this video where the importance of active listening is being explained.
Okay, fantastic. Excellent. Right. Anybody else? Come on, give it a try.
Ma'am,
Jugal.
can I?
Jugal has done. Yes, Smita.
Live
Yeah.
Ma'am,
demonstration.
so you can go ahead.
Just 1
Jugal, sir,
minute.
you can go ahead. Jugal, sir, you can go ahead.
Yes, Jugal, please go ahead.
Thank you. Suppose I am conducting a training. Training name is selling skills. So here I want to describe the spin model, which is situation based. Now, what is the situation, what is the problem, and what is the implication, and what will be the payoff. So the method that I will use a role play with the help of actual case study.
Okay. So, Jugal,
How to
you are saying that while having the role play, you will be giving a case, and based on that case, you will be allocating the roles, or the participants are going to decide which role they are going to take.
either they can choose on depend
Okay.
upon their experience, or
Okay.
either I will allocate
Okay.
them.
Okay. Fantastic. So, after the role play, you will be asking the observants that what are the observers, that what are the things they have learned from the role play.
They have learned from this spin model, which is basically connected with the selling skills.
Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. I see the hand from Sandeep. Yes, Sandeep?
Yeah, ma'am. So the training topic is how a self-managed team works, right? So
Hmm.
our organization is basically moving from a traditional hierarchical structure to a self-managed team. So in this training, I would like to use a video of some organizations who are working in this model. Like suppose there is an organization called Morningstar, which is into agri-input sector. So basically the video talks about what are the role of different team members in a self-managed team. So there, someone will be in charge of the processing of the tomatoes. Someone will be procuring from the farmers. So these kind of a video, when our employees will see, they will get a trust how they can also grasp this empowered kind of work, and they can take the accountability for betterment of the organizations. So that is the
Fantastic.
concept. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Anybody
Can
else?
Can I?
Yeah. Yeah. Please, please.
Not going to the traditional technology method. Probably I'll be using the audio visual of storytelling and a comic strip making, which could be something based on the story for stress management or work-life balance kind of.
Very nice. Fantastic. In fact, comic strip making is one of the most interesting one. I have actually tried that with my open MDP where people have come and they have actually tried to draw the small pictures with, of course, very weird looking people, because not everybody is a good painter, but then they enjoyed. And while having that enjoyment and fun, they learn also. That is very, very good.
It would be very easy to bring out what they are feeling at that moment. So I would like to go for comic strip and story writing, which is again an audio visual combination.
Very nice. Yes, Alankar.
Ma'am, I can visualize a training program in which we are teaching people about the basics of technologies. For example, when we are refining oil, we are using a distillation column. Now, for most of the non-technical people, especially in support, the very idea that in one column, if you are putting in some liquid and you are getting 3 or 4 different products, is not very intuitive. So the whole tray and column arrangement, if it is shown in an animated manner, they get it better. Similarly, when we were young, we were told many of the physics concepts, but those concepts we almost had to rote because we could not feel it. But when I grew up and then when YouTube became very common, we had that Levin's lecture, and in that we could really see how that MIT professor demonstrated that. Now to give that demonstration in every class in India, it is difficult, but that can be a very good. His stuff is available online. His clips can be used with a very great effect for teaching physics as audio visual tool, ma'am.
Absolutely, very nice. In fact, I would like to share my experience with you about when I conduct my sessions on HR analytics, and there most of the things are menu driven. But when we are talking about using the menu driven program, or maybe the programs like when you are using programs in Python or something, certain things are very crucial. For example, if it is a menu driven one, you have to enable or disable some of the boxes. Yeah, for example, the normal distribution, whether or the degree of freedom is going to be 5% or 10%, exactly how we are going to do it. Or in case of Python, indentation is important. Now, does not matter how much you are telling, people who are not having the tech background, it becomes very difficult for them to actually appreciate that point. Yeah, so if you show that in an animated way, that that indentation is happening, the space is given or not given, or the capital letter is given, or some disabling or enabling of the box is happening, or checking the box is there, people will try to remember, because more than one sensory organ is involved in learning. So you're absolutely right. This is very, very crucial. I have seen this every day. It is happening, and I'm absolutely with you. Very nice example, Alankar. Yes.
Ma'am, I will give one more example. When you describe that for non-technical HR people, one more example which we really do in our organization, though it can be improved further. We have a system called TTSS, training through screenshots. So what in that what we do, suppose for example, I know that SAP transaction code very well. There are 4, 5 steps, 7 steps in which that needs to be done. So the person who knows that, he takes a screenshot, and then he underlines the area on the screen in which you have to put in some data, and what is the next screen that is going to come. So it could be made better by using audio also, but usually it is a series of steps kept as a PowerPoint. So in case somebody is coming new to the department, he can just go through that, and at least 80-85% he knows how to handle that situation.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
So that in our case has become a passive tool. Instead of trainers using it, now we have kept it in a server. You go there and you see a few screenshots, and you can do it.
In fact, most of the banks, they have started this practice, actually doing the step-by-step process. And with the audio visual, they're trying to tell the customers who are the new customers, instead of sending the customer care executive to the place and explaining everything, what they're doing, they're simply sharing the link, and they're asking the customers to learn how to actually operate their internet banking. So various ways of using audiovisual, especially thanks to the technology advancement and artificial intelligence. Now, a lot of things which are happening, because of those things, I would say our training has become more effective, and it's a sea change of the mindset of the trainers. Absolutely. Okay. Anybody else, guys? No?
This is Pooja. Even safety training and other behavioral trainings also can be done through the showing some videos or
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, I've seen in one construction company where they're actually demonstrating through a particular film with the cartoon animated version, that if you're not wearing the helmet in the construction site, what can happen to your head? So yes, absolutely. Right. If we do not have anybody right now, anybody else is there? No, I guess not. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have finished our first session. It is already 1:30. Therefore, I will stop our discussion today. Next class, we will come back and more fun will be waiting for us. And we will have one more small task. Now, before I just close it, just quickly check with you, because today is our first session. Is it okay with you guys the way it is being conducted? It is a kind of interactive thing and some tasks were involved. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am, very much.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
because I thought monotonous discussion from one side, it is always better to have conversation and sharing our experiences. That's the way I want. But in case you want anything else to be, please let me know. Right. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, it was a very nice, pleasant experience, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Have a good
Thank
week.
you,
Okay,
ma'am.
bye.
Thank you,
Have a
ma'am.
nice
Thank
evening. Bye.
you. Have a nice
Thanks
day.
a lot, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye.